Fox 61 News at 5 starts now.
Right now at 5, the heat wave continues, but will we finally see some relief this week? Meteorologist Ryan Breton has your latest forecast.
Plus, concerns about keeping cool at splash pads, and now the CDC is warning parents to take extra precautions.
Also at 5, preparing for primary day. We have everything you need to know before heading to the polls.
Plus, a lesson learned by one local family. We have an update on Leo the Golden Doodle, who was taken from a stolen car just last week.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us here at 5. I'm Ben Goldman.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. Yeah, that heat wave continues tonight. We have some rain showers now this afternoon, but it's still hot out there.
Governor Lamont just extending the state's hot weather protocol through tomorrow night. Meteorologist Ryan Breton joining us now with when we could finally see a bit of relief. Hey there, Ryan.
Hi, Ben and Sarah. Tomorrow is the last day of the real extreme heat and humidity, but coming off numbers like this is just not going to cool off much tonight either. 94 the high today in Hartford, 92 degrees in New Haven, and we did have some summer storms erupt in that heat and humidity. A nice shot of this lightning strike right outside the TPC River Highlands in Cromwell a short time ago. Look at all the storms as they moved into eastern Connecticut. They actually fizzled a little bit, and eastern Connecticut is really where we need the rain most. In the Hartford area, there was a thunderstorm that's now weakened. Still a little downpour going right into Rocky Hill right now, just about to cross the river over into Glastonbury. 84 the temperature right now in Hartford, 89 in New Haven, but these numbers don't tell the whole story. The humidity is a big factor tonight. The dew point in Torrington, 80. That is tropical, soupy air, and the rest of us are in it too with dew points in the 70s. So if you have any plans this evening, just an isolated shower will be out there. It's very warm. It's very stuffy and humid outside. Overnight, it stays warm and sticky as well, with temperatures not dropping far below 80 tonight. And then tomorrow, it's hot. It's humid. Then in the afternoon, we'll be watching for some storms coming in from the northwest. Between about 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon and 9 or 10 o'clock tomorrow evening, scattered storms will be out there. And unlike today, a couple of these storms tomorrow may pack more of a punch with damaging wind gusts. But these storms mark the end of the heat wave. Much more comfortable air will be moving in for the rest of the week. So these are the lows tonight, 70s to around 80, may not drop below 80 in New Haven. We're headed for high temperatures tomorrow up into the 90s. And when you factor in the humidity, it will feel like it is around or over 100 at times tomorrow afternoon. We'll have more on the relief that arrives for the end of the week coming up in just a little while.
Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, another day in this ongoing heat wave here in Connecticut. A lot of families are hitting the pools and splash pads to cool off.
But now the CDC is telling parents to be extra careful with these popular summer spots. Fox's DeAndrea Turner joins us from West Hartford with what you need to know.
Well, when you come to splash pads, it's to enjoy the water and to cool off from the heat. Well, the CDC is also putting out a PSA to parents, some of the things that you need to know before you go, literally. The anticipation turns to excitement for these kids at the splash pad.
We've been loving that, and then we've been trying to hit the splash pad because it's just been unbelievably hot.
Each splash offering a relief from the heat.
Just something to stay cool and keep occupied.
But as the little ones cool off, the CDC is now putting out a PSA to parents about making a healthy splash. A new federal study says that dozens of people got sick after visiting a splash pad near Kansas last summer. It found that people contracted a bacteria infection and others became sick with the neurovirus. Now here's what the CDC is telling parents. Do stay out of the water if you were sick with diarrhea, shower before getting in the water, and take kids on bathroom breaks and check diapers every hour.
We all follow those rules anyways, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm sure that some people don't, but I feel like most people are pretty conscious of that stuff.
And don't swallow the water, poop or pee in the water, or sit or stand on the jets.
But they all love to sit on the sprinklers, so that is something we'll have to keep an eye on, because I didn't think about that, how that could be not great from a hygiene perspective.
And that virus has not been detected here in Connecticut. In West Hartford, DeAndrea Turner, Fox 61 News.
On days when we're tracking severe weather conditions, you'll want to have the free Fox 61 News app by your side. Scan the QR code there on your screen. There you can get the latest forecast, weather alerts, and other resources available during this heat wave. Well, the political machine is in overdrive today. Candidates are holding rallies and meeting and greeting voters in these final hours before the polls open tomorrow.
We have live team coverage with everything you need to know before casting your ballot. We start with Fox 61 political reporter Emma Wolforst.
Ben, Sarah, turnout in primary elections is typically lower than the general. Here in Connecticut, it's usually between 20 and 30%. But state election officials say that all depends on how interested residents are in the races on the ballot.
Historically, in primary elections this time of year, it's usually between 20 and 30%. It all depends really on the intensity of the campaigns. How much advertising might be done, and are people aware that there's an election?
State data shows voter turnout for the 2020 primary election at about 28%. In the parties, nearly 23% for Republicans and almost 35% for Democrats.
This is an opportunity for people's voices to be heard. It's how our democracy works. That's why Election Day is so important. That's why it's important people stand up and be counted.
Most recent data shows over 2.2 million active voters total in Connecticut. More than 911,000 of those are unaffiliated, meaning they aren't registered with a particular party and therefore can't vote in a primary election. That leaves about 1.3 million active voters eligible for the primary.
We'll see how it goes this election, and that might tell us something about voter interest in the elections in November, too.
Election officials can use Tuesday's turnout data to gauge voter expectations for November. The primary, just the first hurdle for these candidates, though. Those who win tomorrow will see their names on the general election ballot again in November. Live in the studio, Emma Wolforst, Fox 61 News.
All right, Emma, thank you. Candidates holding rallies and meeting and greeting voters in these final hours before the polls open up at 6 a.m. for primary Tuesday.
Fox 61's Matt Karen caught up with a few of the front runners, and he continues our team coverage tonight.
Well, you know, we certainly have seen some close races here in Connecticut in the past, so we know every vote matters. And for these candidates, every second matters. If you are planning to vote, it's 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. That's when the polls close. But you can also vote absentee at any one of these official ballot drop boxes located outside the municipal building at 169 Connecticut cities and towns. From state party-endorsed candidate Themis Claridis, who made her last-minute pitch to voters at Elmer's Diner in Danbury.
My name's Themis Claridis. I'm running for U.S. Senate.
To Trump-backed Leora Levy, who plans to have the former president host her primary eve tele-rally.
And I think with President Trump's endorsement, they understand who will be the strongest candidate in November.
Listen, he has a prerogative to endorse whoever he wants, and I'm really proud of the endorsements that I have for people that live in Connecticut and work in Connecticut.
3 Republicans vying for the chance to retire incumbent Democrat Richard Blumenthal. They first need to go through each other.
Do you even know who's running or any of the races or anything?
I'll be honest with you, I do not.
And that's the problem, voter apathy. Turnout expected to be below 30%. Among those looking to change that include the candidates for Secretary of the State, the top election official, competitive primaries in both parties.
All too often, apathy is winning elections that are more than our political parties, and sadly, I don't think tomorrow will be any different.
If you want somebody that can bring some innovation to this office and really take our Connecticut elections to the next level, I think I bring a lot of credibility to that office.
The polls open at 6 a.m., close at 8, and then it's on to November.
So even if you think it's not going to make a difference, I believe it makes a difference. You show up if you're an American.
And the Senate candidates are making an even bigger push tonight. Claridis is in Seymour, picking up some last-minute endorsements, while President Trump will be hosting a tele-rally for Leora Levy at 8 p.m., and businessman Peter Lumage will be talking to business owners in New Haven. It's all in a race towards the general election in November. Reporting in Danbury, Matt Karen, Fox 61 News.
Thank you, Matt. And stay with Fox 61 for everything you need to know about tomorrow's primary. We'll have live team coverage all day tomorrow on Fox 61 and on Fox 61 Plus. We'll do tonight. Superstar singer and actress Olivia Newton-John has died at the age of 73 years old. Newton-John's husband announced this news this afternoon on her Facebook page, saying that she'd been battling cancer for the last 30 years. Newton-John was best known for her role in Grease and one of her biggest musical hits, Physical.